Hello, my name is Hertam Watko, and we're back. The topic is revolutionary government, or the acronym RevGov. With us, we have Bobby Brillante, a spokesperson for federalism. Now, in the first part, we've identified that RevGov does not mean going out into the streets and shooting each other, meaning a revolution of sorts. Meaning, RevGov is the revolutionary idea towards advancing the primary purpose and promise of the president to the people, of which the people are now requiring, which is federalism. After all, revolutionary federalism definitely from the unitary that we once, or not, we now have. Bobby, let's go to this event that you said earlier. November 30, this Thursday. Holiday yan, di ba?
Yes.
What time, where? It's going to be in Malacanang, you mentioned earlier. Who is to go out? Where is the organization? Meron bang, may nag-aayos nito?
Actually, there are many organizations, including non-Duterte supporters.
Even non-Duterte, ha?
Yes, who would like to...
Ibig sabihin, Trillanes and
except the obstructionist position.
Ang tawag pala nga, the obstructionist pala yan. Sige, we've qualified and measured the roles of people. Sige, let's go forward.
Obstructionist
Thursday
opposition. Parang as days pass by, nagkakaroon ng spontaneous reaction na dumadami ng dumadami. In the beginning, it was RevNet or Revolutionary Network. Then it became RevGov. Now, RevGov became the more popular because other organizations have already joined in.
Okay.
So, ang usapan dyan among, as far as I know, as of last week, there are about 16 major organizations that supported the Duterte campaign, and other later who joined, that would converge in areas surrounding Malacanang at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
But this is not to bring Duterte down, but to show the president, we the people are waiting for federalism.
Yes, we want to bang the door of Malacanang and ask the president what is happening. And if the president says, I cannot do anything because Congress is an obstacle, then it's up to the Filipino people to say, let us ignore the obstacle and then let us go direct to the point. And that is where revolutionary situation
That's how it started. Now let's go to the consequence of the RevGov, which is the legality. Is it within the realms of the Constitution that we still have? Pwede ba yan, or is that extrajudicial again?
Well, the general principle is that when that Constitution and that government does not work for the people anymore, it is the right of the people to change that
On
Constitution.
that premise, that's
Yes.
the legality.
Yes.
So the people have a right to promote for themselves what they require of this president. After all, kaya nga nanalo yan.
Yes,
Parang
is
ganon.
the reason why they are urging a revolutionary action is because the present Constitution does not address the situation anymore. It has become useless, and the continuation of such Constitution only preserves the rotten political system that only benefits the few and not the many of the Filipino people. That is why we are revolting against that Constitution, because that Constitution preserves the old system. And we want a new Constitution that will introduce and implement a new political system where people will be governed by directly accountable public officials.
Will Malacanang see this as such or find it, they're knocking on the gates, galit ang taong bayan, baka ayaw na nila sa akin, hindi kaya ganun mambasa. O alam na ng presidente, sinabihan na siya.
kung hindi niya gagawin yung kahilingan ng taong bayan, ganun ang mangyayari. We will be knocking upon the door for him to leave Malacanang. If
You're going to go to that extent?
but if the president does what the people want as he promised during the election, then we want to give him the extraordinary powers, the revolutionary powers granted to him by the sovereign will of the Filipino people, so that he can exercise the pursuing the change.
So on Thursday is a show of strength, confidence for the president to pursue his promise para hindi na siya naiipit ng Kongreso,
Right.
so to speak.
And also to show to the president that we have not abandoned you. We are still here and we are collecting on your promise.
Is that not a threat in a way for the president?
It should be a double
Edged sword.
bladed
Hindi kaya,
thing.
hindi naman babaliktad.
Because what is important here is not really keeping Duterte in the office of the president, but making
Following the will.
Duterte
The instrument of the
do.
people.
Yes, because by allowing himself to be used as president by the Filipino people when he agreed to run, is that he allowed himself to be an instrument of change. And the Filipino people are hoping already, and they're already watching.
It's clear now that you've identified the parameters of the words RevGov, the acronym RevGov. It is very clear now that it's really for change, a revolutionary change, definitely, because it's called change of system of government. It is clear, there is more clarity that it is not a revolution of fighting and blood on the streets. How are you going to overcome or overpower media that says you are warriors of the street and you're promoting war on the streets? How are we gonna, ang hirap, di ba?
Yeah.
I mean, pakinggan mo, alam mo, mga tao, bilib nga ako sa Channel 2, they don't even respect the president by calling him President Duterte. They call him Mr. Duterte. As if the guy talking has the audacity to speak as if he's in the same level when no one has ever voted him. Ika nga, di ba, so to speak, no? Bilib ako eh. How are you going to change that when they own the presses, they own the media? Palalabasin nila, oy, tignan mo yung grupo nila, Bobby, and the 16 major parties or companies or associations, groupings and advocacies, di ba? Tignan mo sila, oh. Hanapan natin ng baril. May dalang baril yan. Gusto nila manggulo lang. Parang ganon.
Yes,
To make it look, you're the obstructionist and not the Laila de Limas. Thank God she's in jail and hopefully to stay forever. Di ba? Hindi, kasi parang pinalabas nila ngayon. Tignan mo, binabagsak na nila si Sereno. Come on, Sereno is already obviously guilty just on the SALN. Wala pa yung mga iba. Trillanes, I don't know why they don't take him away yet because he's really bastos na eh.
Yeah.
Hindi, di ba, so to speak. But how are you going to confront the oligarchs with all the monies they have using media as their power?
Well, first of all, it is the prerogative of the mainstream media controlled by the oligarchs to be disrespectful by calling the president.
Oh, Mr. President, Mr. Duterte. Believe ako, ang kapal ng mukha ng... I think he's in ANC eh.
Yeah.
I forget his name, but sa ANC madalas sila, Mr. Duterte. As if mas mataas ka. Believe ako, may mandato yan, ilang milyones. Ikaw may mandato kang isa, kundi asawa mo.
Yeah.
Di ba parang ganun
Again, if I were Duterte and if I were a dictator, I would have closed down that station already.
That's the irony. That's the irony. And yet they call him a dictator.
Yes, yes.
Di ba they call him a killer? Di ba? Because of the EKJs. But they can't even prove one case na EKJ. Of course, yung kay Kian talagang hindi naman pwede lahat diretso. May mga pulis na gago rin, di ba? Miski pa paano.
Yeah, going back to the RevGov is that the reason why it becomes a revolutionary government or through a revolution or you call it revolution is because you are going out of the ordinary way. It is a radical step.
It is a radical
to achieve
step.
a system setting aside all legal impediments and
The barriers of entry of change, binabangga mo para talagang
binabangga mo.
mapasok na yung federalismo.
Kung ang gusto ng tao ay magkaroon ng constitutional amendment at ayaw gawin ng Kongreso, may mga stumbling block, the people have the right to remove these stumbling blocks and to remove all the barriers for change and pursue. After all, the government, the president is an instrument of governance. The government is a government of the people, for the people, and by the people.
Correct.
And if that government no longer serves
The people.
then that is a useless government and it should be dissolved. The people have the right to find a new government who will serve them.
Parang gano'n. So, talagang misinterpretation yung RevGov for now. Oh, yung mga obstructionists are winning, changing the minds of the people. Oh, martial law yan, martial law. When you yourself say, if only the president would dictate, to become a dictator, napakalayo naman, siya pa yung may ayaw.
If your only purpose is to suppress dissent and shut the mouth of the opposition, it is easier to declare martial law. No? Pagka-deklara mo ng martial law, huli dito, huli doon. No?
Walang writ suspension.
Even if you're allowed a number of days or weeks or months, that already sets the tone. The atmosphere has already been established. So the atmosphere of fear is already there. But that is not the purpose of our revolution. The purpose of our revolution is not to stop dissent. It's not to suppress the opposition, but merely to already bring about the change because nauubusan na tayo ng oras. And there is a timetable for this. Dapat yung...
Actually, last October pa yan.
Oo, dapat yung referendum ng bagong constitution ay kasabay sa magiging eleksyon ng barangay election sa May 2018.
Oh, that's only 5
so
months.
So that the 2019 election becomes a
federal system
a normal situation already. But barring that situation, sabi ng tao, kung wala naman palang tayong iniintay dito,
ang
pinag-uusapan na ninyo dyan, senatorial election ng 2019, ayaw nga namin ng election dahil pangalawang ilang beses na tayo. At napatunayan natin that elections after elections does not or do not solve our problem. It only perpetrates the problem.
Hindi kaya ang problema yung Senate President, si Coco Pimentel. Kasi siya pa naman nagpupush ng mga senatorial slate ng PDP laban. Hindi kaya, he is the source of the obstruction. Hindi kaya, siya nagpo-promote ng mga senatorial lineup. Believe nga, Harry Roque, Mocha Onson, kung sino-sino nga nilalagay na nila ngayon.
There is more reason for the people to rise and revolt and ignore Congress. Because even in the Congress, the House of Representatives promotes a senatorial lineup. The Senate promotes a senatorial lineup. Diba?
Correct.
Senate President Coco Pimentel would announce his lineup.
Kanya-kanya
Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez, who is the Secretary General of the same party, would announce his own lineup.
Oo nga.
So, ang gulo.
Iba nga dalawa nga
Trapon-trapo talaga ang dating. So, dito nga kaya nga natin hinalal si Presidente Duterte dahil ayaw natin ng trapo at gusto natin magbago ng sistema at gusto natin magkaroon ng pagbabago para sa kaiuunlad ng sambayan ng Pilipino. And here, naturingang administration party but they have become the show window of trapos that
sila pa na una.
That we resist. No? Isinusukan natin yan. Kaya nga we have elected an unknown and unpopular president. Hinugot natin magmula sa Davao. Hindi naman siya kilala sa Visayas at sa Mindanao. Pinagtiyagaan talaga ng taong bayan.
But he still enjoys a very high rating regardless of survey and time.
Definitely.
Until now.
Oh, yeah.
Mataas ang confidence ng taong bayan sa kanya. Except nga itong inaantay natin na revolutionary.
80% public approval, I think, only exists in the Philippines.
Yeah, it is. Only exists in the Philippines. Regardless of time of survey.
Yes.
Regardless
no president in our history has ever had that kind of percentage of approval.
Pero bakit hindi niya na lang talaga i-push kung gusto talaga don't you think President Duterte is strong enough and popular enough to be able to instigate and to say, alam mo, ano ba kayo? Umpisahan na natin.
That is why. Pero, as I said,
Hindi kayo nadidilema
this
rin.
president is not a dictator because he does not dictate on what to do. So, but the people who voted him into office took the cue. This is what we wanted when we put you as president, and this is what you still want, and together we want to do this. Why don't we just do it together? You as president, and we, using our sovereign will of the Filipino people, grant you that extraordinary powers.
What
to
are your
exercise.
expectations for this Thursday? 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Malacanang, everybody is invited. If you care for your country, come down, let's change the system. What are your expectations for Thursday at 3 o'clock?
I cannot really say, but all major entrances and exits of the going to Malacanang would be blockaded, will be surrounded. Remember when President Estrada left Malacanang to
Sa likod siya,
Pasig
dumaan
River,
eh.
we surrounded him kasi at that time wala na siya madaanan. We will do the same. We will surround Malacanang so that wala makakapasok at wala makakalabas. Only to tell the President that please, we need the change already that you have promised, and you...
Is there a spokesperson? Will there be a stage? Will there be somebody with a microphone and an amplifier to speak on behalf of the people, or will it be mob rule? Kasi ganun mangyari
We
yan
have one in Menjola. There is one in Nagtahan, and there is one, I think, in Laurel. Yung...
right in front,
Yes,
almost
yes,
right in front. Pero how are you going to organize the people? Kasi madaling maging mob rule yan kung pasukan ka ng mga loko, no? I mean,
May mga marshals naman kami. We have...
it's very easy. The Liberal Party just needs to put in some crazy people in there, di ba?
Subukan nila.
No, because they are like that. Ganun naman sila, di ba?
Yeah,
You have to be ready.
This is not a threat, but subukan nila pumasok sa hanay namin. Yun ang...
And how many hundreds of thousands do you believe you will be getting? Because every time we have one in Luneta, dina-downplay ng dyaryo eh. Tapos yung camera nila, kino-close up nila sa mga 3,000 people lang. Di ba kala mo sila yung marami eh. Pero obvious na huli na eh. Because media will not cover you properly.
Yes,
Di ba?
yes,
For sure, hindi kayo ko-cover.
Yeah.
Papalabasin nila, wala nangyari. Parang gano'n.
Yes, so...
But at least, if the president can see, it doesn't matter what media says, is what you're saying. Kasi isa lang naman ang audience mo dito.
Yun naman
hinahabol.
lagi ang pananaw niya. I don't care what you say. After all, we know that you are a biased media. Whatever people tells me, that is what I am going to do.
And the assembly is only seeking one person to just to convey to him, mag-federalismo na tayo. Parang ganon.
Yes. And if Congress does not do it, let the people do it.
Can I go
through
just 5 steps ahead, Bobby? Let's assume we are in the federalism and we're going to go into another election. How can we be sure the voice of the people will be there if Smartmatic is still there? Number 2, the new commissioner was the very commissioner that was questioned less than 10 years ago to be part of the Bangsamoro. Di ba yung Abbas? Sharif Abbas? Siya ngayon ang ginawang parang chief commissioner. I mean, hindi kaya parang lukohan na naman, here we go. It's like another Sereno in the Supreme Court and another Morales in the Ombudsman and another Leni Robredo as the Vice President. Parang the whole system, it's being choked. Di ba? The heart is being choked with the blood vessels. Pinuputo lahat papunta sa puso, kaya hindi iikot.
That is why you need a revolutionary government to do that. You need a revolutionary government to
Sabagay,
reorganize
to change the COMELEC.
the commission and election. You need a
tama nga
revolutionary
naman.
government
Tama nga naman.
to make ways for change.
Tama nga naman. We're gonna have to end the show, Bobby. Bilis lang. Alam mo, parang kaupo lang natin. Your message to the public to invite them for November 30.
Okay, para po sa November 30, that is the Bonifacio Day, is very significant po kasi alam niyo naman, si Bonifacio nagsimula ng revolusyon at ang kanyang revolusyon ay hindi natapos hanggang ngayon. Siguro sa panahon ni Pangulong Duterte, tatapusin na natin ang revolusyon na ito para magkaroon tayo ng panibagong setup, panibagong gobyerno na talagang tunay na maglilingkod sa taong bayan. At yan ay una, kailangan magkaroon tayo ng constitutional amendment at pagkatapos na magawa ang konstitusyon, bagong konstitusyon sa pamamagitan ng Constitutional Commission na i-appoint ni Pangulong Duterte, ay ito na may ipapasa sa taong bayan for ratification through a referendum. Pag inaprubahan na ng taong bayan ng konstitusyon, then federalism will already be installed. So, inaasahan po namin na tayo ay magkakasama-sama sa November 30, doon po sa Malacanang at doon po sa Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao na mga nag-signify ng kanilang pakikisama ay sabay-sabay po nating hilingin sa Pangulong Duterte na ipatupad na ang kanyang ipinangako sa taong bayan at panahon na para tayo ay magkaroon ng tunay na kapangyarihan. Alisin natin sa mga oligarchs ang power, alisin natin sa mga politiko ang power, ibalik natin sa taong bayan ang gobyerno sapagkat ang gobyerno ay hindi sa politiko kundi para sa mamamayan.
Thank you very much, Bobby. That's very poetic how you put up Bonifacio being on Bonifacio Day. That's very nice. That's a nice input right there. So there you are, ladies and gentlemen. It is not the revolution or the rally that you think it is because media is telling you that you're going to go on the streets and shoot each other. It is not that. It's not the revolution that they think or they want it to be an obstructionist to those who want to just merely reach out to the president. Now, this event is supposed to gather the people to be one with the thought and the idea and the primary promise, which was federalism. Not to go out there to bring your sticks, your guns, and what have you, to bring down any government. It is not to bring down the president. It is there to bring out a voice, to go forward, and finally put some teeth into what they call federalism. Of course, kung anti-federalism ka, and you enjoy the current systems, and you think the current system that we have today has worked for the people, that is only made us the laggard in Southeast Asia, brought about poverty. We can't even fix the MRT because of all the legal and whatnot, and yet ang taong bayan namamatay at ganun ang nangyayari. Well, you decide and you play your part. Hope you've enjoyed our show. Maraming salamat po. My name's Harton Buatco. Bobby Brillantes was our guest. Maraming salamat po. Thank you, Bobby.
Hey, thank you.